All right, so now we're going to begin our summary study of chapter 12, Bhagavad-gita, as it is. And in this chapter is titled Devotional Service. And this is, remember we said that there's a Bhagavad-gita divided into three sections, first 6 chapters, second 6 chapters, and last 6 chapters. The middle 6 chapters are about devotional service and the jiva relationship with Krishna. And so this chapter is the completion of the middle 6 chapters. And as such, it's the culmination. Okay, everything is building up to this. Back in chapter 2, Krishna is telling Arjuna that those who follow the Vedas are less intelligent, that there's a better way of self-realization. And in chapter 4, Krishna explains, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, I come again and again in every millennium to establish the principles of religion. And that's what Krishna is doing by speaking the Bhagavad-gita. So that principle of religion that Krishna is giving is devotional service, which is the complete subject of this chapter, in which Krishna actually explains step by step exactly what that is and how to execute it. But it begins with Arjuna's asking the question, which is better, those who are engaged in your devotional service or those who worship Brahman? Now, earlier in Bhagavad-gita, it's come up from time to time about this idea of Brahman, Krishna's impersonal feature. And there's a class of transcendentalists, those who worship Brahman, they are also transcendentalists. And so there's always, let's say, within the culture of India, there's, like in all human affairs, there's a little competition. You know, my way is better than your way, like this. Of course, everybody, they want to, whatever they're doing, they think, they hope it's the best way. You go to any church in the world, we're doing it right? Every church. But some or other, not every church is doing the same thing. So, but that's how it works. We don't deliberately do the wrong thing. We're trying our best. And so there's different churches, different ways of understanding according to different people, and the stage that they're at in their own progressive spiritual development. So Arjuna is asking here in the beginning, which is better? Should I do that, or should I do this? Should I follow Brahman? Is their way better, or is devotional service better? And Krishna gives, for some perhaps, a kind of a shocking answer. He doesn't say, no, those people are wrong. He says, yes, they are, those who fix their minds on my personal form are considered to be the most perfect. So he starts with that. Who is right? Those who are worshiping me in my personal form. But those who worship the unmanifest, by various processes, at last they will come to me. So this is third sloka, 12.3. So what he's saying is that they're also making progress, and they're at their level of progression. That's right for them. And in time, they will come to perfection of having a relationship with me. Then he explains, for those who are attached to that unmanifest Brahman, this self-realization is very difficult. But let's say, to make progress in that discipline is always difficult. But those who worship me, engage in me without deviation, engage in devotional service, meditating upon me, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. That means that this method of personal devotional service is much more quick. Krishna says, swift deliver. I will quickly deliver them. So then, fix your mind on me. Always engage your intelligence in me. This reminds us of an earlier sloka. Manmanabha bhakto madhyaji namaskuru. Engage your mind always and think of me, offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, you will come to me. So Krishna, again, like we said, there's many repetitions. This verse number 8 is a repetition of verses we find earlier in the Gita. Okay, now, from 9 to 12, Krishna gives a progression. And when I speak on this chapter, I always put this in reverse. I always go from 12 to 8. Because it's easier that way. So if we look at 12, engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. So that's the bottom step. Okay, cultivate knowledge, which is what we're doing now. Okay, we're studying Bhagavad-gita and so on. Engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge, but better than that is meditation. Better than meditation is giving up the fruits of activity. So there's 3 steps there in text 12. Cultivate knowledge, meditate, or give up some of the fruits of your activity. Better than that is in number 11. Give up all of the results of your works for me. Okay? So there's a slight difference there between you give up some of the results of your work, or then you gradually come to the point of giving up all of it.
Okay. Question now, right?
Yeah, okay now.
You say some of result.
Yeah.
You mean 12?
12.
12?
Yeah.
But this here write 11 and 12 for me isto, как se kaže? Same.
Yeah. Okay. But, okay, you can say like that. Okay. I'm trying to give a progression. Okay. So Krishna's doing better than this, better than this. He goes the other way. If you can't do this, then do this. If you can't do this, then do this. I'm reversing that and I'm saying, okay, this is the bottom, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. So although 11 and 12 are similar, okay, giving up some of the result of your work is where people begin. Okay? And then gradually they come to the point of giving up all of it. Now, we can take an example. Have you gone to the temple at all? No? Okay. So for most devotees, most people, when they come to Hare Krishna movement, what happens first? Somebody they'll get a book from somebody. They'll start to read that and they say, oh, this is very interesting. I want to know more. So they go to the temple. Then when they go to the temple, so they're cultivating knowledge. That's that first step, reading the book. Then they go to the temple, and maybe after some time, or very soon, somebody suggests to them, oh, you should chant Hare Krishna mantra. They see in the temple everybody's chanting Hare Krishna. And then somebody may suggest to them, oh, you get some japa beads and you do this meditation. So that's second step, meditation. Then as they continue to come, they will give some donation. It's a very natural situation. People want to contribute. They feel happy with what they're getting, and so they want to reciprocate by giving something. Okay? Then Krishna says, okay, better than this is giving up all results of your work. So then that devotee then, or that person may think, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. I will move into the temple. I will do full-time devotional service. So that's when they give up all of the results of their activities. Everything they're doing, they're trying to do 24/7 is service to Krishna. So that's the next step. Now, outside of the temple, it can be done the same way. Again, it's a matter of progression of learning learning that consciousness of doing everything as sacrifice for Krishna or to please Krishna. In the beginning, we can't do it. We can't give everything simply because we don't know how. We're not accustomed to that. We're a conditioned soul. And so we give something, but we can't do it all the time. Gradually, we learn how to do everything for Krishna. So give everything to me. Better than that, then he says in the next one, is to follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga. And then, and just try to work for me. Oh, try to work for me. Okay, give up all the results of your activities. Better than that is to follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga. And then finally, better than that, in text number 8, is to always be thinking of Krishna. Fix your mind on me, engage your intelligence to me, worship me, serve me in every way, and thus you will live with me without a doubt. So that's the perfection. So this is the steps that, practically speaking, everyone will go through in the development of their Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So this is Krishna's explaining. This is the process by which we cultivate and become established in yoga. And then after that, Krishna just goes on to explain for the rest of the chapter how by serving him in various ways, Krishna is very pleased. All of these next verses, they end with, he is very dear to me. So, one who is not envious, kind to all living entities, doesn't think himself a proprietor, free from false ego. He's very dear to me. Then continuing, for one who no one is put into difficulty, who is not disturbed by anxiety, who is steady in happiness and distress, he is very dear to me. So all of these in these verses, these are symptoms of a person who has actually become established in yoga, who is situated on the transcendental platform. And so Krishna is saying that person, having achieved that stage of their spiritual development, they are very dear to me.
It's possible to people who live in a Rajagun have this way for come to the Sattva Gun.
Again, people who are in Rajagun to what?
Yes, and he have some habits from Rajagun.
Yeah.
He can come to this.
He can't come to that stage immediately. No. And that's a very good point. there has to be gradual elevation, okay? By the practice of bhakti yoga, okay? Yama, niyama, doing, don't, avoiding. Gradually the heart becomes purified. One loses their taste for rajagun. They become situated in sattva. So that's called a clearing stage, or in Sanskrit, anatta nivritti, becoming free from the dirty things in the heart, cleaning up the heart. And so it takes time. It's not, you can't come there in one step.
But it's possible.
It's possible for one who, let's say, in some circumstance may finally fully surrender. But generally it doesn't happen. Maybe in extreme circumstance, maybe at the time of death, something like that. It could be possible. But because we're conditioned souls, what happens is we come to that, let's say we're in Rajagun, we come to Sattva from time to time, then we go back to Rajagun. Or we're doing there's also, by the way, devotional service according to the gunas. Devotional service in Tamagun, devotional service in Rajagun, and devotional service in Sattvagun. And because we are conditioned souls, conditioned by tamas, rajas, and sattva, when we begin our devotional service is tinged, colored by tamas, rajas, and sattva. Okay? And then gradually, by performing devotional service, those dirty things have become cleaned up, and then our devotional service comes to sattvagun, and then finally to Shuddha Sattva. Now this is a very important point Prabhupada makes, that it's extremely difficult to go from Rajagun to transcendental position. It's called Shuddha Sattva. Okay? And therefore, it's recommended that the sadhaka live in a sattvagun, that they live in village. And they live according to the ways of sattvagun, growing food, taking care of cows, like this. Because that being in sattvagun, it's a small step then to come to Shuddha Sattva. But from Rajagun to go to Shuddha Sattva, almost impossible. Again, because we are conditioned souls. Okay? When we stay in the city, we get used to this Rajagun, and we're not conscious of it, but it's affecting how we think, what we do. It's affecting our values. And so we need to become cleansed from that, purified from that. So the recommendation is to come out to village, which is why Prabhupada was advocating, he was encouraging us, you live self-sufficient life on farm or in the village. And that way, then you easily are in Sattvagun. Naturally, you're in Sattvagun. And very quick to come to Shuddha Sattva. When we were in Zagreb a couple of weeks ago, okay, we're going in the mall. The mall is a place of Rajagun, right? More fashion, things, so many things you don't need, but then when you see them, oh yeah, that's good. Oh, I want that. It's created for Rajagun. And so when the mall, I'm looking at that and I'm seeing, of course, so many things are there for women. I'm seeing that this is such an artificial way of living based on what? Based on money. That way of living is only because there's money. If there's no money, you can't even, that way of living is impossible, right? So like, you come to here to Chabunska, and no stores with fashion, nothing like that to agitate your mind, right? Om Shanti Shanti. Very peaceful. So, yeah, and people, of course, in the city, they want to live in the city because, that Rajagun it's very nice in the beginning. Yeah. Nice in the beginning, but in the end, not so good. So, anyway, okay. Comments or questions?
I have.
Yeah.
First question from the beginning. We talk impersonalist, Mayavadi was same, but here in many times Prabhupada said that impersonalist is also devotee, like here, but not so.
Right. Third class.
Yeah. Although there are knowledge and everything. And we usually said impersonalist Mayavadi, but is it same or not same? I don't. Here is not same. Here. Here is,
we say that in a general sense. Okay. Impersonalist, yeah, is Mayavadi. If you, what does that mean? Impersonalist. It means the supreme form of God is this impersonal Brahman.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, otherwise they say white light. Okay. So that is transcendental. It's beyond material world. Now, Mayavadi, what does Mayavadi mean? Mayavadi means that this world is Maya. They say this world, everything in this world is Maya. And so, Avadi, right? Mayavadi, one who professes or believes, accepts everything is Maya, like that. Okay.
Yeah, but we also believe that it's Maya, no?
No.
Not like them.
Not like them.
Okay.
Okay, for them to say it's Maya, they say it doesn't exist. It's just illusion.
Yeah.
But the Vaishnava says, no, it's real.
Yeah.
And we learn how to use it to serve Krishna, and we use it to help us become disconnected from it gradually. How? By using everything in Krishna's service. Therefore, it's yukta vairagya, it's properly used, and by using it in that way, our attachment to it breaks. We stop seeing it how it serves me, and we start to see how to use it to serve Krishna. That's the difference. So it's real, it's not real in terms of being eternal, but it's here, it's real, and we can use it to serve Krishna. Okay, so the difference?
Yeah.
Mayavadi, impersonalist, it's subtle difference.
Yeah, because I know Lord Chaitanya said Mayavadi Krishna Paradi, and here is something different.
That's another thing now, okay? So, like from the point of view of Chaitanya Charitamrita, that if one goes down that path, right? Bhakti Yoga path, Mayavadi path, different directions. If you go down that path, it's going to be very difficult to come back to Bhakti Yoga because you have to train your mind, right? If you remember where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is trying to help this young sannyasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understand Veda.
Yeah.
And he's talking for 6 days. You know the story. So there's this Mayavad person. Lord Chaitanya comes to Puri, India, where Lord Jagannath Temple is. And so one who is very senior, respected leader of that community is Mayavadi. And so he wants to help this young sannyasi to understand everything properly. So he invites him to come to his house, and he starts to explain to him the Veda from the point of view of Mayavad understanding. In other words, everything is impersonal, right? So he's going on and on for 6 days. And finally he says, maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm speaking for 6 days. You don't even ask a question. And Lord Chaitanya said, well, I understand very well what it means, but the way you're describing it doesn't make any sense at all, because you have to go through these mental gymnastics to say, well, this means this, and this doesn't, you have to like replace everything and change everything. So Lord Chaitanya says, for one who wants to get a proper understanding, if you're trained in that way of thought, it's very difficult to get corrected. You may remember when who's that couple from Germany was here? We were talking at the table. Remember? Do you remember?
Angelico and Daniela.
Yeah. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a Mayavadi. Okay? He has that way of understanding. Impersonalist. And so we're talking about what is spiritual, and I said, no, it's really much more simple than that, but you because you don't understand what spiritual actually means, you're making it much more difficult. I don't know if you remember that conversation, but like that. So it's, we could call it the framework or the frame, the way in which everything is represented. So Mayavad is one thing. This world is all illusion, and then you try to understand the supreme truth, or you try to understand Bhagavad-gita in terms of it being illusion, and Krishna is not God, Krishna is Brahman and something. So you have to make some interpretation rather than accepting it as it is. And so in the introduction of Bhagavad-gita, Prabhupada is writing there that why he wrote this Bhagavad-gita, because he said, somebody asked me to recommend a good edition of Bhagavad-gita, and he said, well, frankly, I can't, because they're all written by Mayavadis. They're not giving the proper understanding. He says, so therefore, I've taken the trouble to write this book as it is. So what? Because Krishna says to Arjuna in the 4th chapter, because you're my devotee as well as my friend, you can understand this transcendental science. So that's the qualification of being Krishna's friend, Krishna's servant, Krishna's devotee. And so therefore you can understand properly. So Prabhupada is explaining Bhagavad-gita according to the personal conception, God being a person, and the living being the servant, the eternal servant of the Lord. And in that way, this is proper understanding Bhagavad-gita as it is. Yeah.
May I share with you? Maybe I'm wrong, but
Sure.
Yeah. In a simple level, I see Krishna everywhere, because everything is manifested.
Okay.
You are manifested, tree is manifested, flower is manifested. And how is possible to do some God, Krishna, who is, for example, not personal, make the personal things on the world, and all universe is form, have a form. Is
Yeah.
for me that is don't have a reason why is impersonal.
Perfect argument. Yeah.
You are personalist.
Yeah.
I am not.
No,
You are
personalist, not
Yeah.
impersonal.
No,
Personalist.
yeah.
I said because you said that you are personalist,
Yeah.
and you personalist.
Yes, I
Okay.
said
It's a natural way of saying, right?
Yeah.
If you're not contaminated by that wrong philosophy.
Thanks to God. Every cell in us have a form and structure.
Uh-huh.
Every atom have a structure. And how is possible to do this? Everything what have a structure, this one doesn't have a structure. That is
Yeah.
Yeah, not logical, is it? Nope. Very good. Yeah. Natural. So this is your how do they call it? You carry with you from your previous life. So this what you learn in previous life, you bring into this life, and so you see this naturally. Huh? Generally, people don't come to this understanding just like that.
for me is
By progress.
For me that is natural thing
In this life.
in this life. In this life.
So good. Very good. Yeah. That's Vaishnava philosophy completely. How to see Krishna everywhere. He is everywhere. Huh? If we take the trouble, if we are conscious, we say International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to be conscious of Krishna. Yeah. Kaya, any questions?
I have one more.
Yeah.
I think before that somebody who, nationalist in country, you know what?
Naturalist means,
I like my country, my people, like this. I like
Glory of the
glory of my country and my people.
oh, nationalist.
Nationalist, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And but here I in 12-11, very interesting. Ovo me podsjetilo na Thompsona. On je kao. You see 11,
Yeah.
and in purple Prabhupada said that this kind of person can serve društvo, society and community and narod,
people.
yeah, people and
Right.
country. Then I understand this is also less on self and more on isto je, makar nije visok nivo transcendentalni, it is not advanced, kaj ga pričamo, ali, but selfless, for somebody else, not for, although it's not for God, but
Right. Okay, he's serving his country,
yeah,
his family. Right.
better than only self,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised because we have here some. We have one singer, most popular, Thompson, and people and many people like this. People said bad things about people like that.
Other people.
Yeah, other
Who
people.
is not Croatian people, for other people
Uh-huh.
is not
Serbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like such.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's in this category. What Prabhupada said, my country,
Yeah.
my people.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's different conceptions of self. Who am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the person who's very fallen, It's only me. Everything is about me. This is called this narcissist, right? Or psychopath. Huh? I'm important. Nothing else is important. Okay? But then you grow from there to, okay, well, yes, my family, I can relate to them. They're important too. I extend my ego to include my family. And then I can extend my ego to include my community, and then my country, and then larger and larger. So myself, I take a smaller and smaller position, right? And then finally, then I can say, oh, yes, there's God. Oh, who am I in comparison to God? Very small. So again, it's a matter of progression, spiritual development, by which one can see themselves properly in relationship to everything else. The person in big Maya sees nothing else, only me. So,
Yeah, and about this, my question is, this cultivate knowledge is under this? Because this is in previous shloka.
oh, I see.
This is a little confused
Okay.
for me.
Let me just read here one
Is
second.
this cultivate spiritual knowledge or knowledge at all, or what?
Okay, again, it's a progression. You cannot do something that you don't know about. So first thing, you have to get some knowledge, some understanding, okay? Either from teacher, from book, somehow or other, okay? So by cultivating knowledge, and then your understanding changes of who am I in relationship to all these things, and what is my proper behavior in relationship to them, okay? If I understand my relationship with others properly, I understand, oh, I have some duty to them. I should give something to them. Okay? Oh, there's Krishna. Let me give to Krishna. Okay? That's the next step here. Work for me. So cultivate knowledge, then meditation. By that, meditation is purification. Okay? Reflection, meditation, I think. I hear something, then I think about it. This is a kind of meditation also. And then as a result of that meditation, then I change my behavior from selfish behavior to giving to others. And that giving increases step by step until finally I want to give everything to Krishna. It's easy, let's say, that's the progression, what we can do. You can't jump from the bottom step 3 steps up. You can't do that. It requires, why? Because doing these things step by step purifies us so that we can then do the next step. Just like you go up the stairs, you can't go up 6 steps. You go 1, or maybe you can do 2, or maybe 3, but 6, no. Okay, so like that. As we become purified, we can go to the next step. We are expected to go to the next step. And this is an important thing. Many devotees, they stop looking for the next step, or not just devotees, people in general. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you know who is Bhaktivinoda? Okay. He's 2 spiritual masters up from Prabhupada. Okay. So we call Param Guru. In the Parampara, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's from the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or the second one from the right. Okay. So he was in 18th century or 18th century India, when the British were very strong in India. And so he was speaking at that time and in that context. And anyway, he's He's written many, many wonderful books. He's very practical books, how to make progress. And one thing he said, he explains that spiritual progress it's like a series of steps. And the problem is people, they become stuck on one step and they think this is it. I'm a Catholic, I am a Christian, I am this, I am that. That's it, I'm going to heaven. There is nothing else. And so they stop. They just think I've arrived. So they don't try to go for anything more. And devotees do this also. So we have to constantly be seeing, what's my next step? Where do I go from here? And looking for that, right? Many, as far as our devotees go, they are engaged in sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and they continue with that without thinking that there's another step. But there is another step. That's Raganuga sadhana. So, but if we don't look for how do I grow to that, because Prabhupada didn't explain this. He didn't put any emphasis on that at all. Why? Because by the time he left us, the most senior devotee was 11 years, practically a child in understanding. And so if he started teaching that, he knew everybody would immediately, give up.
Without explaining.
Yeah, and we've seen so many examples of that too. The people would just try to jump to that. I'm very advanced. Yes, I follow Raganuga Bhakti. And so Prabhupada didn't say that. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist or that we shouldn't do it, which is what some think like that. They think, oh, Raganuga, oh no, you can't do that. That's, you have to be very careful. That's not correct. So the acharyas have explained to us what the progression is, and we simply have to do that. And we have to look, what's my next step? And I was expressing this to one friend several weeks ago. I said, I remember how wonderful it was when I first read Bhagavad-gita. My head was exploding. This is amazing. This is wonderful. This is it. And so I said, I want to find that same experience now. What's that experience for me at this stage of my life? So I made some progress. Now, okay, how do I come to that experience again? So, keep looking. Keep looking to see what's my next step. Okay, are we done?
Yes, I think. Many questions, but we need
Many questions.
7 days, like Maharaj Parashit. No, okay. This is a very interesting chapter.
Again, we're doing an overview.
No.
But I'm trying to give the bigger picture from trying to understand. If you understand this chapter and what's being presented, then when you study it, you drill down into it, you look deeper and see, how all those things are going. So,
Yes.
All right then. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.